Huge welcome to Pinterest Power, strategically pinning with purpose. I'm really excited to dive into this topic with you today. It is the latest in our travel toolkit series. And whether you're here because you're a travel booker and you want to obviously build your business, find more travel clients, or you focus on the rep side, or you do both and you want to build a team and build something bigger, this session is very much about showing you how you can leverage Pinterest to help you do that. And not in a, oh, you need to go viral kind of way, you need to post every day or find that elusive trending soundtrack. This is just a very, very simple, low maintenance way of marketing your business that actually works. Now, most people think about Pinterest as a form of social media, definitely don't think about it as a business tool. They think about recipes, party planning. When I say they, I'm also meaning me. Maybe some home interiors, in my case, definitely home interiors, dream holidays, wedding inspo. And yes, it is great for all of those, but it isn't actually a social media. Pinterest is actually a search engine, which means that it works very differently from social media. It isn't about engagement and entertainment, it's about providing information to create solutions. So we are going to have a look at that in a little bit more detail so you understand how it actually works. And I can't wait to dive in and get started on this topic with you. So, if you are joining us new to this session, if you haven't caught any of the previous sessions before, then huge welcome. And you can catch up on the sessions that you've missed, or just rewatch this one again for anyone that wants to go over it again. You can find that on the page that's linked here. So there's a QR code, or you can go to www.traveltemplates.co/courses hyphen Pinterest power. And you'll be able to rewatch this one and catch up with anything that you've missed, and obviously find the resources for the different things that we've covered so far. So we've looked at Canva, we've looked at branding, we've looked at creating a beautiful link in bio. Last month, we looked at branding your social media and how to use kind of clever tools in Canva to batch create content to speed up creating your social media content. So lots to catch up on if this is your first one. And now let's dive into Pinterest in a little bit more detail and get started on this month's session. So, as we said before, Pinterest is actually not a social media, it is a search engine. And here's what's particularly magical about it. So, the shelf life of your content on Pinterest is so many times longer than you'll find on social media. So, if you post on Instagram, it might get seen for 24 hours. If you're lucky, and it goes viral, you will notice you'll notice engagement for maybe 48 hours, maybe even slightly longer, but not much more than 1 or 2 days. Facebook, you're lucky if you last 8 hours. TikTok, kind of the same thing, blink and it's gone. But on Pinterest, your content can keep working for you for months, even years. They say the average lifespan of a pin on Pinterest is 4 months. So compare that to the average on social media of 24 hours. And you'll see that it's not just a pin, it's a little piece of marketing that quietly does its job long after you've created it. Pinterest is the platform that keeps working long after you've hit publish. It's not about chasing likes, it's about planting content that really grows over time and keeps bringing the right people to you. It will bring people to you who are planning their next trip, dreaming of a better lifestyle, searching for a new opportunity, people who are looking for what you offer. And no, it really doesn't need to take over your life. In fact, once you've got a system in place, you'll find that because you can repurpose a lot of content, you can spend, maybe an hour at most on Pinterest and know that your content is still doing its job behind the scenes for you, and that all that effort you put into making that piece of content is actually going to be worthwhile, because it's going to continue actually working for you long after you've actually posted it. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to try and make Pinterest feel simple, so not overwhelming. I don't want it to become another, oh, I should do this, but it's then tricky to do. We don't have a huge amount of time in the session, so I am going to just walk you through the basics, but I'll tell you after how you can do a much deeper dive into this if you really want to, if you can really see the benefit, which hopefully you will. We're going to look at what makes Pinterest so different and so powerful, how to make it work for our business, regardless of what our particular niche is. It doesn't really matter. Look at what kind of content to create, how to design pins that are going to stop the scroll, and how to batch our efforts so that it's sustainable and doesn't become stressful. Because you don't want to be pinning for the sake of it. You want to pin with a purpose, and with a plan that fits your business, your life, and your goals. So let's start thinking about how Pinterest could quietly become your most powerful marketing tool. If you are new to Pinterest, you will just want to come to uk.pinterest.com and you will just set up your account. It's really straightforward to do. Obviously, if you already have an account, you can just log in. And then once you have logged into your account, let me just do that. You will want to change your account to a business account and set up your account profile. The reason for this is that when you have Pinterest as a business account, you have access to things that you don't have access to with a personal account. You've got two options really. If you've got an existing account that's personal, you can convert it to a business account, or you can just set one up afresh. Pinterest is nice in that you kind of don't get penalized for having a fresh account, because people aren't generally looking at you and your account as a whole. They will just come across one particular pin in isolation. So if you don't have tons and tons and tons of content beneath, it doesn't really matter. If it's the answer to someone's, if it's the solution to someone's problem, or, the information that they're looking for, they are going to look at the pin, they're going to pin it to their board, or they're going to, even better, click through to whatever you've set it to click through to, whether that's a form, a lead magnet you want them to download, add them to your email list, whether that is quote request, some information about joining your business, whatever it might be, a landing page, website. Hopefully they will just click on that and go. And Pinterest actually, rather than say the social media platforms whose purpose is to keep you on the platform, Pinterest is actually to get you off and move you to the content that you're looking for, because it keeps people obviously coming back, because it provides solutions, because it is a search engine, not just a social media platform. So once you've got your account, or you've logged into your account, you're going to go up in here and just sort out your profile. So you're going to click on there. If you click on this little arrow here, this drop down, you can click on this convert to business. And this will, you can see here, you can upgrade this to a free a free business account. And you can see you get different things, credits and offers. You can do advertising if you want to, insights and analytics. So you're just going to click on the upgrade and it will work its little magic and do that for you. And you have to fill in bits and pieces on here. So you're just going to say that you are a service provider and go next. And then you'll have a bunch of things that you need to fill in. You can put your website on here as well and all sorts of stuff. So I'm not going to go through all of that now. I'm just going to go back and show you how to do the next bit that we want to look at, which is, if it'll let me. Let's see. Yes. So we want to go and click on the circle now. Once you've converted it to a business account, you're going to go and click on the circle, and you want to start adding some things to your profile. So you can go here to edit profile on the left-hand side, and you can go through and you can fill all of this out. Just remember that the more restrictions that you put on your account, so in other words, like your profile visibility, if you set that to private, nobody will be able to find you. So you just have to be quite mindful as you're going through that this is a business account and that you want as many people as possible to find you. So it's just make sure that all the settings are appropriately set. So there are lots of things in here that we will explore at some point, but not today. So we just don't have time. This is a particularly good one. Create the pins in bulk, but I will do that in another session because it deserves some time just on its own. But you can see, you can just go through and remember it's worth filling this out properly, because this being a search engine, everything that you fill in here essentially becomes a keyword. So if you are saying in your story that you help people to become independent travel agents, when somebody is searching for that, you are more likely to come up because it will go ding, ding, ding to those keywords that you've written in here. So do take your time to fill out your profile properly, go through all of these and just make sure that everything you can fill out, you fill out, and that you use those kind of keywords that you're that is the point of your business. So if your goal is to get more travel bookings, obviously you need to use keywords that will relate to that. If it's to grow your business and you're talking about passive income, you're talking about network marketing, put all of that in, because it will help people find your profile and your account. But that's how you change it to a business account. So you're going to click on the little arrow, and you were going to click that button that changes it to the business account, and then you click on the actual circle here to edit your profile there. Most important as well is that you do change your photo. You do not want this letter sitting up here. Put in a really nice photo. It's a very community-based platform, so ideally a nice photo of you smiling, looking as if you're on holiday, probably in a summery kind of setting, would be ideal. So something that works aesthetically with what you're talking about in terms of your for your feed and things. So that's what we're going to cover. I know it's been very top level, but there's just so much that we could potentially go through on here. So it's going to be I'm going to leave that for you guys to explore at your leisure. Okay, so you know how to set up your account and how to change it to a business account and how to edit the details in your profile. So your main kind of checklist things are you need to make sure you've got a lovely profile photo, friendly, approachable photo of you, your business name, include keywords that your ideal clients might be searching for. You need to make sure that your bio has got plenty of lovely keywords. Think about what your dream clients are coming on to search for. Like if your niche is honeymoons and weddings, you need to obviously be talking about that in your bio. And ideally, if you have a website link, this is absolute gold. You want to make sure your website link is in there to direct traffic straight to your site. And I think the other thing to bear in mind with your profile is don't worry about it being perfect. Just write something, you can always come back and edit it. Because once your profile is done, every pin you create starts feeding into a bigger picture. So one that will bring people back to you, back to your offers, back to your travel services, back to your team opportunity. And it becomes a smaller part of what you're doing. So don't stress over it. Just put it together. Use ChatGPT if you need to, and just get it done. And don't agonize over it. So now that we've sort of shifted the way that we see Pinterest, we understand it's a search engine. Let's have a think about why it's such a powerful tool for what we are doing in terms of travel. We know that obviously Pinterest is a planning platform, and that is essentially what, as travel business owners, we are doing. People aren't coming here to scroll aimlessly, they're coming here on purpose, and the type of clients that we are hoping are on the platform are coming here with an idea in mind, with a trip that they are exploring, And it means that they're already thinking about travel. They're already thinking about where they want to go, what their budget might be. They're open to discovering someone like you. And the best part, obviously, is that our content that we're putting out there is not going to disappear in 24 hours. It is long-term visibility, it's passive traffic, which is absolutely magical. Now, whether you're a travel booker and you're pinning dream destination guides for inspiration for people, tips on trips or packing, announcements of new hotels that are opening up, various lead magnets that you might be creating, or if you're a rep, perhaps sharing quotes or lifestyle content and information, drip feeding information about your amazing business opportunity, Pinterest can help you be found by the right people at the right time. And you don't need 10,000 followers. You don't need to post daily, thank God. And you just need a strategy that connects the dots, really. And the beauty of that is that one pin could lead to a trip planning form, a blog post that inspires somebody to reach out and book with you, a freebie that grows your email list, or a business opportunity page that gets someone thinking, this is what I need. I need to do this. I'm ready to take the leap. So it's not about being viral. It's about being visible, really. So when we're thinking about pinning purposefully, what should we actually be pinning? I find that the 3Ds help me with this. So when you think about your content, think about it as guiding somebody through a journey. So I go with the 3Ds: dream, decide, do. So dream is providing inspiring content to get them imagining what's possible. Decide is giving them educational content to give people the clarity and information that they need in order to research, to feel comfortable to do the do, which is leading someone to actually take action. So let's break that down. So, for example, for travel bookers, you might do bucket list trip ideas, seasonal guides or destination tips, sample proposals or itinerary inspiration. You might do some myth busting posts. You might have pins that say plan your next escape and link to your lead magnet or your landing page, for example. For reps, that might be quotes about time freedom and flexibility. It might be pins that lead to webinars or checklists or your business information guide. It might be showcasing real people's testimonials and team wins, new people joining the team, their successes, showcasing their successes. It might be pins that just are sort of gently asking, would you like to earn from travel? Are you passionate about travel? And this is how Pinterest can become part of your sales funnel for free, quietly, confidently, and without you needing to be online 24/7. The other thing about Pinterest, of course, is that it's not so interactive either. So people, it's not a communication tool for you. So you haven't got lots of people messaging, which again is one of those reasons why it's a really nice passive marketing tool to have in your toolkit as well. So the three types of pins that we need, because we don't need to create tons of content. We just need to mix up a few types. And as I said, inspirational pins, sparking the dream. Think gorgeous travel images, vision board vibes, quotes that connect, that sort of stuff. Educational pins. So these are building trust. They are tips, how-tos, value-packed sort of little mini lessons, like mini lives, and they really show that you know what you're talking about, you know your stuff, you're an expert in this area. And then conversion pins. So these are the ones that drive action. So they are going to be driving people to download lead magnets, to reach out and via a planning form, for example, webinar invites, join my team, those kinds of pins. And you really don't need to overthink it it, just rotate between these three and you'll have a really powerful, purposeful Pinterest presence, but very much without the overwhelm. Sorted out our profile. We figured out that we probably need 3 different types of pins, our dream, decide, and do pins. And now we have to create the boards that those are going to sit on. So for anyone who isn't familiar with Pinterest, it's you have individual pins, and if you like that pin, you can save it to what's called a board. So literally like a pin board. And these boards are brilliant for us because we can theme them. So I would recommend certainly starting off, probably going with maybe 5 boards to start off with, and you will mix up those. You'll have a variety of dream, decide, and do pins across those different boards. So the boards that you might have if you're a travel booker, for example, might be uh, luxury hotels for adults, or it might be family travel tips. And you can also put slightly longer description in there as well. Again, they're all keywords, so they're really useful for helping people to find you in Pinterest. What we were saying earlier about connecting the dots is connecting the right customer with the content that you're putting out there. And keywords and what you're describing your boards as will help you to do that. So to create a board or a pin, you're just going to go to this little plus icon here, and you've got the 2 options to create a pin or create a board. So if you're going to put together a board, let's just say we're going to call this, let's call it work from anywhere lifestyle, which obviously would be something that a rep might want to go with. So keep this board secret. This is not something you want to tick. If you tick this, it means that no one can see your board. So if you are looking, for example, if you're collating a board with lots of ideas of things that you like from other people, you would probably want to tick that, keep that secret so nobody can see. But then you can use that board to, collate inspiration, ideas, that sort of thing. But nobody will be able to see it. So if this is a board that you want people to be able to see, just leave that unticked. And you don't need to add any collaborators unless you are doing this with a colleague or with a friend as well. And you just click on create. And it will offer other people's pins to save to the board. Now you can absolutely pop other people's pins on there to create some variety, some interest, especially when you are when you're first getting started. But really, you want to put your own pins on here to start obviously generating your own content on here. And if you go up to these 3 dots here, you can go on here, you can go to edit board, and that's where you can put your description in about the board, which is obviously super important, as I mentioned before, for your key words. So then you would then go and you would want to, let's say you want to add a pin, you would just click here within your board, and you can go up here and you can add a pin. You would then add your pin here. You'd download it from your computer, and you would add. Let's just say we're going to pop in a pin. Oops. Let's just say this was going to be our pin. Obviously, I would have some text over this as an example, but let's just say you would then add in a title. So it might be, in this case, it's, you might call it Stay on the Palm, Dubai, and you would add a description. Your link here would be, you would add a link in to whatever you can. So if you have a website, your ideal would be your website, either linking that to a blog about this. So let's say this was all about, because obviously this is going on our work from anywhere lifestyle. So let's just say that this was all about the fact that this was today's office, for example. This was your view today from being able to have a work from anywhere lifestyle. That's the content that you would put in here, and you would then maybe add a link in here to your information about joining the business. So you would just simply copy your link here. So for example, if you have a landing page about that, you would just pop the URL in. A website, you put the URL in. If you don't have a website, but you do have information that you can send to someone, you can upload it into Google Drive or Dropbox, and you can get a link and you can pop that link in there. So it's an amazing way of being able to attract somebody looking for something and then share with them some information or direct them to the place that you want to go. And then you can schedule it. So if you wanted to batch create a ton of these, you can just set it to schedule, or you can just post it. You can post it now. So if you want to just go ahead and post it, you just leave that off, and then you just click this publish button at the top right. You can also allow people to comment on it if you want to. You can also allow people to shop for similar products to what's shown in the pin using a visual search. You can leave that on. It won't really make much difference. This alt text, so many people just ignore it, but actually it's another opportunity to put keywords in that mean your pin is much more likely to be searched, because search engines outside of Pinterest, so Google, for example, they can't see what this is. Google can't tell what that photo is unless you fill in that alt text, which means that not only will you be seen in the Pinterest platform, but somebody who's researching, a work from anywhere lifestyle or Dubai, is much more likely to come across your pin and therefore come here, and therefore from your pin here will be able to visit. You can redirect them via this link here to wherever it is that you want them to go. And I'm going to cover lead magnets, forms, landing pages, etc. in another session, because it's quite a critical thing. We did touch on it a little bit in the link in bio, so worth having a rewatch of that if that's something that you would like to know a little bit more about. But I will do a proper session on that, because it is something that is it's so important now across all the different sort of marketing methods that we have been looking at. But that's how you would go ahead and you would add your pin. So I'm not going to go through and fill all that in now, because it'd take me forever. but hopefully you get the idea of how you would then add your pin in. So then it says your pin has been published. So if we go to look at it, it's there on our board. And people can now heart it, they can forward it, they can share it, they can download, and they can we put a website in here, it would come up here, and they can save it to their own boards. And about 80% of pins are actually re-pinned pins. So that's one of the reasons why Pinterest has such a long lifespan, because quite often people are just coming across it and repinning it fresh to their own boards, and that's how it gets spread around very, very easily by people. So if you really do nail your imagery, you're going to find that your pin sort of goes viral in its own little way. But quite often it can be the simplest thing. And if it's solving someone's problem or giving them the answer that they need, or the tool that they need, or just the information or inspiration that they need, it will just be pinned again and again. And hopefully if you set it up to lead to somewhere, that's the critical thing. It's not just about creating pretty pins. It's very important that you create a direction, the action for someone to take. So it needs to go somewhere. You don't just want people to pin it because it's pointless. It has to actually take them to something that you've created. So again, whether that is taking them to your Instagram link in bio, where maybe you've got a form embedded, or it's taking them to a landing page or a sales page, or it's allowing them to download some information, or taking them to a Google form, it needs to go somewhere. And that is the key thing about the purposefulness of pinning. That is the key part about it. Okay, so let's just have a really quick look at Things to consider when you're creating your pin. I would always recommend designing these in Canva. It will make it incredibly quick. You just go up to the create design button, the little purple plus icon, click on that. And if you type in Pinterest, it will pull up a variety of Pinterest sizes for you. And you want the portrait one ideally. I wouldn't recommend doing the others. You can also do video, which is super, super eye catching. So I would recommend also experimenting with creating pins with video as their background. But whatever you choose for your background, make it pin worthy. Make somebody really want to pin this and share this. So you can use various royalty free image banks for this, like Pexels, for example, to download a stock of beautiful images that are going to work with your overall aesthetic, so that everything stays very consistent and beautifully on brand. A couple of key things to mention when you're adding text to your pin is make it really clear. Don't overload it with text. People will be scrolling and they're looking for a solution, but they're probably scrolling quickly. So just a few words, keep it in a very clear, legible font, make it very easy to read, and ideally include the call to action. So what you want someone to do on the actual design itself. So you can see here, I've done one for sort of a rep, an example of a rep Pinterest post, and one would be for like a travel booker. And at the bottom of the rep one, it says download the guide now, and that's the blueprint to earning 100K in travel. So that's what I would refer to as a lead magnet. You would have created that lovely lead magnet, which could just be your business information cards. It could be more of a kind of elaborate actual guide to how to do this. In other words, joining your business with you. And on the travel side, it just says to visit and then the website. Now that could be, get a quote now. It can be lots of things depending on what you've actually got available to you to use in order to direct somebody to. But these I just whipped up really, really quickly. It didn't take long at all. And they are exactly the same design. I just duplicated them. I switched out the photo. I changed the text and I moved the text box above and one below. So they look, if they were on the same Pinterest account together, they would still look cohesive and work together, even though they're talking about two completely different things and they're two completely different pictures. So those are just a few things to bear in mind when you're thinking about creating your content for your Pinterest posts. Just wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to batch create lots of Pinterest pins. Really, you want to be aiming at posting 1 to 2 pins a day. But you can, as you saw before, you can schedule those. So you can do it, you can batch do it for a week. It will take you no more than an hour. And I'm going to show you how quickly now. But you can batch create those, schedule them in, and 1 to 2 pins, fresh pins a week will be a phenomenal amount of lead generation, natural lead generation for you. You can also repurpose content. So for example, if you have got a blog post, you can take different elements of that blog post to showcase. If you've got a lead magnet, you can present that in 5-10 different ways. It doesn't matter if your pin is leading back to the same website or the same piece of content or the same lead magnet or anything. Pinterest just likes to see fresh pins. So all you may need to do is just change the design, change the photo in the background, change up the text slightly, and it classes it as a fresh pin. So it's very easy to create new pins, even though they might be about exactly the same thing. Don't feel every time, oh my goodness, that means I have to create a fresh form or a fresh, download for somebody. Absolutely not. You probably find that just with your existing Instagram content, that you've got enough content to to actually generate plenty of pins to get you started with, because you can of course link out to that as well. So you could take something that you've already written about, you could turn it into a Pinterest pin like we're going to do here, and lead it back to that Instagram, to your Instagram account, to that post or whatever it might have been to do with. So you can repurpose a lot of content that you've already created, a lot of especially if you do write blogs, or you do have little information cards and things like that to share with people. You can repurpose that content in Pinterest without having to create lots and lots of new things. Obviously, you will eventually run out of those things and you will need to kind of expand on what you can do. But, there are an awful lot of ways that you can present the same information in one fresh pin. So just to give you an example, if we were to take this one, and the way that I did that was just simply to click onto Canva and to go up to here, go to create, and I just simply put in that I wanted to create a Pinterest. And I got the options here. You can also, as I mentioned before, video is really good to use, because again, it's super eye-catching. So that's a really good way of repurposing the content. So you can have the same thing here, but you can use the animate function to create some movement within your photo or within your pin, or you can simply download video. One of my favorite places to get free royalty-free videos is actually a site called Pexels, and it's really great for that sort of stuff. So just as an example, this was a template, and I just simply am going to duplicate it, and I'm going to duplicate the other one. This, you'll notice, is exactly the same. I just changed the wording and I moved the box from the top to the bottom, and it's considered a fresh pin. So I can make a bunch of pins here, and all I need to do is to simply go to my go in here to my lovely uploads. Shut that down. Go to my lovely uploads in here, and I'm just going to find some beautiful photos and drop them in, and you'll see how quickly this becomes a fresh pin that we can then obviously use. Let's say we do that one, put that one in. There we go. Let's do that one. Basket of shells. So you get the idea. So all I'm really doing here is just changing up the images. That one would be nice there because it's a focal point higher up. And they suddenly become new pins, and I can just simply change this. So instead of top 10 cool places to stay, it could be 10 luxury places to stay. I mean, it can be that, that sort of simple, or just 10 cool stays in Asia. It's the same content, it's going to point to the same blog, but I've just changed up the wording, and I might change up the call to action on there, and I've just changed up the image. That counts, as far as Pinterest is concerned, as a fresh pin. So it will re-show that, it will it will be fresh SEO, and that all of those links create contacts into your website or to your other landing pages and things like that. So it's just, you can see how quickly we created that, and then obviously you can go into your Pinterest account here, and you would just simply go up here. You could go to pin. You could then add your pin to your board here. You would give it a title, so it would be Blueprint to Earning 100k in Travel. You would add a detailed description. Again, I would always put the call to action in the description as well, so it would be download the guide now. You would add your link, which would be whatever your link was, and you would choose the board. Now, if you wanted to put a new board on here, you could absolutely do that. You would just click create a board, and you would say, let's say we're going to call this 100K lifestyle. And you would click create. And there it is. So it's added it there for you. Now, again, this is where this comes in really handy, because if you want to batch create these, you just simply choose the date. So you choose, say, tomorrow, you choose the time you wanted to go out, any other options that you want to change. You would describe the pin's visual details. So again, you would be thinking keywords here of, nomad, probably luxury nomadic lifestyle. Etc. etc. So, and again, ChatGPT is brilliant for helping with stuff like that. And you just click schedule, and that would be scheduled, and it would be good to go. So that's how you can batch create content for Pinterest. And again, don't worry about it being perfect. It's much better that you have something done, you have something that's going out there, because you can refine it over time. You can develop it. You'll get better at creating them. You'll start to think about the sorts of content that you can create to send this to. As I said, we're going to cover things like forms and lead magnets and landing pages and such, so at a later date. But those are all the sorts of places that you can send someone. But if you haven't got any of those set up, simply sending them to a download to a contact form, a Google contact form, or sending them to your information cards that you've uploaded to Google Drive or to Dropbox is a great place to start, or sending them to your other social media so you can connect with people on there. But as hopefully I've shown you that Pinterest is a really potentially an amazing marketing tool that doesn't cost anything for you to use, and you can go ahead and enjoy using it.